Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. Fauci flip-flops during Congress grilling. Ex-White House doctor ducks more than 100 questions about COVID and admits he approved risky Wuhan coronavirus research proposal without reading it. Really? So Dr. Anthony Fauci evaded more than 100 questions about COVID, the lab leak theory, and his ties to Wuhan during a landmark congressional hearing on Monday. House Republicans who quizzed the ex-White House advisor said he played semantics to avoid conceding that he funded dangerous research in China that is feared to have started the pandemic. Dr. Fauci, 82, also admitted that he signed off on millions of dollars worth of grants without reviewing the proposals, and appeared to admit his agency had little oversight of the foreign labs it bankrolled. The all-day probe on Monday will be followed by another 7 hours of questioning behind closed doors today. So hopefully we get some information out of that when it comes. But Republican Congressman Brad Winstrup of Ohio, who was heading up the hearing, said Dr. Fauci's testimony today, Monday, uncovered drastic and systemic failures in America's public health systems. Clearly, the American people and the United States government are operating with the completely different expectations about the responsibilities of the public health leaders and the accountability of our public health agencies. According to House Select Committee on Coronavirus, Dr. Fauci denied remembering key details of the response more than 100 times. Man, that's ridiculous. And there's no documentation of any of this stuff anywhere? Like, is it all just gone? Too many things are just disappearing and being erased lately, right? The GOP also said he backtracked on earlier instances that he did not fund experiments that could make viruses more transmissible or diseases known as gain-of-function research. Dr. Fauci's marathon testimony has been a long time coming. The House Subcommittee on the Coronavirus compelled him to appear before members nearly a year ago, but the finer details were only finalized late last year. So Congress, particularly Republicans, have criticized Dr. Fauci's policies to tamp down the spread of COVID in the early days, including flip-flopping advice on masks and advocating for lockdowns, vaccine mandates, and school closures. The private hearings this week mark Dr. Fauci's first visit to the Capitol since his retirement from the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which he ran from 1984 to 2022, nearly 40 years. Wow, you think this guy, that's too long for any person to hold any particular government position. I'm sorry, that's just way too long. That guy has had way too much time, and I'm sure way too many opportunities to benefit himself rather than the people. These power-hungry folks, they start thinking that they're above the laws. But members of the subcommittee compiled more than 200 pages of questions and approximately 100 exhibits, including evidence such as private emails between Fauci and other scientists that showed efforts to cover up dissenting opinions about the coronavirus origins. In early 2020, Dr. Fauci privately commissioned a scientific paper that denounced the lab leak theory as a conspiracy and attacked those who subscribed to it as racists. Right? If you don't agree, you're some kind of istrophobe, it seems like. But Dr. Fauci then touted the paper to the public as evidence of the consensus among scientists that the virus emerged naturally without disclosing his connections to it. Critics say his reasoning for doing so was to protect the controversial research being conducted in China. We don't care about protecting the research when people's lives are on the line, you know what I mean? The former White House director oversaw the approval of $3 million in NIH grants to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where researchers tinkered with coronaviruses to make them more infectious to humans months before the pandemic. I guess I'll add allegedly to that because I don't know how true that is for the YouTubes. The project was titled Understanding the Risk of Bat Coronavirus Emergence. In December 2022, Dr. Andrew Huff, the former vice president of EcoHealth Alliance, became a whistleblower and said he believed grant funding provided to the organization by the NIH was linked to the creators of SARS-CoV-2. Huff claimed the pandemic was a result of the U.S. government's funding of dangerous genetic engineering of coronaviruses in China. During Monday's hearing, Dr. Fauci backtracked on his earlier claims that the NIAID never allocated government money to risky virus research. Oh, so he backtracked on that, huh? He was also unable to confirm if the NIAID had protocols in place to provide the proper oversight of the labs overseas that receive federal dollars. That's pretty messed up, and that should be, that's something that should be easy to provide. The fact that he wasn't able to provide the proper that just tells me that there wasn't any oversight, or proper oversight at least, Was it not his job? I think he got a little too comfortable after 40 years in that position, right? Or close to it. Rep. Winstrup said, while leading the nation's COVID-19 response and influencing public narratives, he simultaneously had no idea what was happening under his own jurisdiction at NIAID. Fauci signed off on all domestic and foreign research grants without reviewing the proposals and admitted that he was unaware if NIAID conducted oversight of the laboratories they fund. I mean, how messed up, right? You just give, seriously, we give away too much money. We do way too much funding when we have, people like my age are being told that Social Security is drying up for us, even though we've paid into it for our whole entire working careers. We were signing off money to Ukraine. We're paying Israel $3 billion a year, even though they have a surplus this year. Like, come on now. What's going on here? Can we do anything for our own country? Our southern borders are wide open. Can we please spend some of this money on ourselves? And, we've been involved in Afghanistan and other wars in the Middle East since the 90s pretty much. And, I'm just ready for the people that lead our country to act like they care about our country. You know what I mean? They care about the people. They care about the future of this country. Everybody's just getting rich and acting. But continuing, lawmakers had compiled hundreds of pages of questions with former White House medical advisor before going to Monday. The transcript of Dr. Fauci's first day of testimony has not been made publicly available, but given the tense tenor of his past hearings before congressional committees, the meetings on Monday and Tuesday are expected to become heated. Rep. Winstrup said, "I look forward to asking Dr. Fauci further questions about mandates, his role in prompting the Proximal Origin publication, and his policy positions related to masks and lockdowns. Tuesday's testimony will continue the Select Committee's effort to deliver the answers Americans demand and deserve." And hopefully they get them, and hopefully they tell us what the answers are. Play the tapes for us. Everything just needs to be transparent at this point, what's going on at the top levels of government, because there's way too much money being thrown around and not enough trust in the government from the people. And so if you guys agree with that, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching to the end. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.